Public speaking is when you talk to a group of people who listen to you. It's different than talking with your friends and family. When you're a public speaker, you talk about something you know a lot about. The people you speak to won't usually say anything back to you. They are there to listen. They might ask you questions about what you say after you've finished your speech. To be a public speaker, you need to be prepared so you know what you want to say and how you want to say it. Here are 4 steps to get ready for public speaking. First, you should plan what you're going to say before you speak so you have time to practice it. Here are some things to think about when writing your speech. What are some important points you want to tell your audience? Make a list. How many minutes do you have to speak? Are you sure what you're saying is true? Never make things up for your speech. Do you want to include pictures, videos, or music in your presentation? Second, practice. If you practice, you'll be more comfortable giving your speech. When you practice, you remember your speech better. You can also have someone you know listen to your speech as you practice. They can tell you what they like and what you could do to make your speech better. When you practice, make sure you're speaking slowly and clearly. Third, be aware of your body. Stand up straight when you talk and look at your audience instead of at your notes, the ceiling, or the floor. If you look at people when you talk, they'll listen better. And lastly, plan to look good. When you speak in front of an audience, you want to be clean and wear nice clothes. Plan extra time to shower, brush your teeth, comb your hair, and shave if you need to. Decide what clothes you're going to wear so they can be cleaned and ironed. You should choose clothes that you would wear to a job interview so you look professional. Now here are 3 tips for giving a speech. First, make sure your speech has a beginning, middle, and end. Begin by telling your audience who you are and what you're going to talk about. Then give your speech. Finish your speech by saying the most important points again. You don't have to talk a lot about them. You just want to make sure your audience remembers them. Second, bring someone to support you if you like. Some people find public speaking scary. You can bring a friend or support worker with you so you feel more comfortable. And finally, don't worry if you make a mistake. Just fix your mistake and keep going. Likely no one will notice. Let's try an activity in your passport. The public speaking worksheet will show you what you've learned about public speaking. Pause the video now while you work on this activity. Now that you know the steps for giving a presentation, let's see how a few self-advocates do it. Here are Jennifer and Carmen.
Okay, I'm Jennifer Stewart. I'm 34 years old and I live in Calgary. Well, I didn't really know I was different until junior high school, and I just thought, oh well, I'm just being taken out of this class and going into a different one, and it was much easier. I was able to comprehend the work, but when I went into junior high, that's when all the teasing started. Kids can be cruel. I think I just tuned it out. I don't think it really dawned on me, really. I think all kids go through teasing, whether it's, they're poor or if they're, if they're gay or if, the color of their skin, so it didn't really, I don't know, I figured that, all kids went through that. Because of the way I went to school when I was in high school, I didn't go to, I wasn't in a class with people with developmental disabilities. I was in a class that people that had learning disabilities. And so when I got in contact with these people as an adult, they had children, they were married, And I found that quite upsetting because I didn't have those things. And I think sometimes when you have a developmental disability, the gap is wider, you know, from the regular, or not the regular people, but the non-disabled people. And so it gets kind of, the gap is bigger, and you notice that. So that's hard. When I was getting counseling from a thing called behavioral support, and Marcia Rich, who was my counselor at the time, told me about this group called the Action Hall that was just starting up, and that I might be interested. And so she told me about it, and I kind of, you know, I was a little bit apprehensive about going, and then I went, and it was kind of fun, you know. They were, you know, a pretty strong group. It was a different way of looking at disability, and you can ask questions, you can be treated fairly. All those things were kind of new to me. Just to know that I'm just on a different path than other people. Like I've done, you know, like I wouldn't, sometimes I think I would like to have a family and then be married and all this, but at the same time I've been able to do a lot of great things. Being able to do, you know, the drama stuff has been wonderful. Like that's kind of my main you know, that's really my thing that I've been able to do, and so I love it.
My name is Carmen McDonald. My age is 44, and I live here in Calgary, Alberta. It was very difficult. I was there since I was 9 years old. So when I moved to Nova Scotia, I didn't know one word of English because I had been born in Quebec, so I was French. French was my first language. And then moved to Nova Scotia, and it was very difficult because not only did I not speak English, but I have a disability. And in my day, the disability was called, I was labeled retarded. So it was extra difficult for me. I had to go back to grade 4. Then I went to grade 5 and 6, and that's where I stopped. After grade 6, I took 4 years of special education. And then in 1990, I moved to Calgary. Oh, I was bullied so many times. Too many people. One girl, I got tired of it afterwards. One girl called me retard, and I did something really silly. I know better now, but I slapped her. Got suspended for 2 days. Mom was no help. My mom didn't know what to do with me. When she picked me up, I asked her, well, what else was I supposed to do? Oh, I don't know. Just think of something else. That's a big help, Mom. Thanks. Anyway, nowadays it's good because they're more aware of bullying in the schools. Don't let people bully you, but don't slap them. Just don't. Talk about it. Talk and talk and talk. Till you're blue in the face if you have to. But don't, that just doesn't help. I was married. I had 2 children, and both my children have a disability. So I spoke up for them. That's when I started to talk about people with disabilities. But then once my children were older and on their own, I started speaking up for myself. And I joined Inside Out Theater. They we teach people or the audience about people with disabilities and what we're capable of. We're capable of so much more than just sitting around on our, you know what, twiddle our thumbs.
Let's talk about the video. In your passport are some questions about the video. Share your answers with your partner or group. Pause the video now while you work on this activity. Congratulations, you've finished Unit 9 of My History, Our Future. Next up is how to write your story and give a presentation.